Welcome to today's episode of Rental Car Reviews. We're in a brand new Kia Optima today, and that concludes the review. It's a nice car. I'll let you know how I like it at the end, maybe. We're in Fresno, California. We're gonna work on a Epic LT. We did one a few weeks ago, but they didn't want us to film in the hangar, so that's like the lost episode. But in this episode, we're gonna do a paint correction and coating on the Epic LT. Then we're gonna do a twin diamond. I believe that's a 42, a D-42 or DA-42. And then we're gonna drive all the way to Santa Monica, about a 3-hour drive, I hope, and work on a Cirrus. We're gonna recondition this Cirrus. It's getting ready to sell, so we're gonna take off the oxidation and reinvigorate the paint. So great adventure ahead. It's not even a weekend. It's gonna be like a 6-day marathon detailing session, so you'll get to like see me progressively get more beaten. We're gonna go find the Epic LT. It's at the Fresno airport, which is the airport we arrived at, so that's pretty convenient. Good morning, this is our first day in Fresno. Instead of working on the Epic yesterday, we actually started on the Diamond. It's a DA-42, and it's white. It had some stripes on it. The stripes are removed, and you can see where there's a color change that happened. So the paint's oxidized up here. Down here it's a lot glossier and whiter, so we're restoring that so that there's no differences in paint. So first thing we're gonna do is start with a no rinse wash. We're gonna spray the plane down with some no rinse and wipe it up, get any dust or bugs off, things like that. There's not a whole lot of exhaust. The interesting thing about this plane is it actually burns jet fuel. So it's piston powered, but it burns jet fuel. So we don't have any of that leaded exhaust residue that we've been dealing with some of the other aircraft. So we're gonna get it wiped down real quick, and then we'll start paint correction. So let me show you just the power of UV exposure. Usually we're showing you turboprop exhaust damaging paint, but this is just UV. So this plane is hangared, but it has about 900 hours. It's a 2015. So let's take a look on the engine here. There used to be a vinyl tape across here, so this part didn't get any UV exposure. You see how shiny it is? Okay, now look up here. That's all UV. So we're gonna polish this, remove the oxidation to match the virgin paint down here. So here is our line. See, this is a little bit glossier than that. I don't know how well we'll be able to pick that up. I'm going to start with a wool pad, which is going to be a little bit more aggressive. Seal the crud on this pad. That's all oxidized paint. So we remove the oxidized paint layer. Now we're going to refine the surface. So because this is a composite aircraft, I don't want to put too much heat into this. So I start with the wool pad. It's more aggressive at low speeds, so I don't have to run up the tool and generate a lot of heat. But it also causes holograms, so I'm gonna take those out with a wool or with a foam pad. So that foam step just maximizes gloss. It's softer, and we use less pressure there as well. And I'm always checking to make sure I'm not heating up this panel. So that's very important when working on composite aircraft. Same with the Cirrus aircraft. Much better. Now we're gonna wipe it down with some alcohol and pull out any oils from the polish that might be in there. By having a good naked surface, we can make sure that we don't have any paint defects that the oils might be filling in. All right, let's take a look and see what that paint correction did. So we did a wool step, which is more aggressive. Then we did a foam step to even out any holograms and add more gloss as well. So remember that line that used to run across here? Both sides are nice and glossy. Remember how dull it was up there versus down here? So we're able to revert about 1,000 hours, 900 hours of oxidation and bring the gloss back. So we're still on the first full day here in Fresno. I got quite a bit done. Started yesterday a little bit, but top of this wing is done. This whole side of the fuselage is done. This engine nacelle is done. And then going over to this side, there's a little bit of adhesive residue here that needs to be removed. So this up here actually has clear bra like it does up here to protect from ice flying off the prop at high speed. So we're going to continue work on this side. You see those tape lines? So kind of the same issue again. You can see how much whiter this is versus the oxidized surfaces up here. So we're going to blend those together, make that all look the same tint of white, and then polish the wing. And then my favorite, polishing the underside of the airplane. With some luck, at some point tonight, we'll start coating. Maybe we'll start coating like the tops of the wings or like the, I don't know. We'll find something to coat. If you want me to come detail your plane where it's located, which is super convenient, and I'm happy to come out and do it, I really need this creeper. Great for naps, great for working on the underside of airplanes, it's adjustable. So that's kind of part of the deal, is you buy one of these, I'll come out to wherever you are. So we're up on the horizontal stabilizer, being a T configuration. This one is up a little ways. A lot of oxidation up here, as you would expect, being a sun-facing surface. So I'm gonna do the old, let's tape half of it and see what kind of before and after I can show. And I'll show you the whole process. Here's a polish, using hyper polish. Spray that on here. We're gonna do one pass. Which is left, right, up, down, left, right, and you see how white this is? Like a lot of that is just oxidation coming off. Alright, so that was at minimum speed on this tool, which is 800 RPM. Let me put this away safely. Pull the tape off. If I can do that with gloves. Aviana. Okay, we got the tape off. Spray some no rinse on here, which is going to help remove the polish residue. So here's before, here's after. See that difference? So just looking at the overhead light here, there's a little bit of bird poop etching here. So it's more oxidized right there. But this is just general UV oxidation. Like I said earlier, this is about 900 hours. It's a 2015 model. It gets flown a lot, as it should. So here, we got oxidation. We just removed all of that oxidation here. and once we coat it, it's going to have a little bit more gloss, but it's also going to be protected, so this doesn't happen quite as fast.
Fresno trip. It is Saturday now. The diamond is fully polished. I just finished polishing the underside, and now we're gonna do the alcohol step, wipe everything off, make sure there's no polishing oils remaining, and then we're gonna start coating. Coating's probably gonna take a good 6 hours or so on this plane. As soon as I finish that, on the hanger right behind me here, the Epic is back from its trip yesterday, and I'll get started on that. Probably gonna push a pretty long day today. This plane's taking a little bit longer than I had hoped.
Right around noon, paint correction's done, panel wiping is done. I'm gonna start coating, so that's exciting. Kind of hard to stay focused here. We got F-15s taking off. F-18's taking off. I just can't help not go look, but I'm gonna start coating now and hopefully get this done so we can move on to the Epic. So coating is going well. The challenge on this aircraft is that because it's composite, there's no panels or rivet lines, so you kind of have to mentally, or, have a visual of where you start and stop your coating. One of the things you'll see me do a lot is just feel the paint, because the coating makes the paint so much slicker. You can determine where you last stopped coating just by the texture. So if you see me like sticking a finger out and feeling the paint, that's basically what I'm doing. So the other side's done. I'm gonna coat this side now, and then probably get underneath, coat the underside of the fuselage, coat the top of this wing, and then do my favorite, the underside of the wings. Once that is done, I'll give you a sneak peek of what's next. We're gonna coat this door. We could make that door look really good. That's what we're doing next. That's gonna be a lot of work. The one plus, daylight savings time. I'm gonna gain 2 hours. I don't know how I'm gonna use those 2 hours yet, but I think it's gonna be one of those trips where I'm gonna need every single hour I can get. So I'm gonna get back to work and wrap this up. It is, it's like almost 4 o'clock, so better get going.
All right, this plane is done. I am gonna get going on washing the other one right here. See the exhaust stream here. I cleaned this part, so you see it's a little bit wider. Same up here, you can see. So how to clean turboprop exhaust. This is on the Epic LT. Way up there is the PT6 exhaust. And you can see on here, what that exhaust looks like. This is a shadow line, so this side's going to be darker, but we're going to work on this area. First, we're going to spray some no rinse on here. This is a dilution at about 1 to 20. Just going to get it wet. Microfiber towel. So that gets a lot of it off, but there's still kind of splotchiness and there's still more carbon residue on there. Then we're going to take our citrus cleaner, and while the surface is still wet from the no rinse, I'm going to spray that on there. Use a little bit different towel to agitate that in. If you feel like it's dry, you can always add another spritz of no rinse on top, just to add a little more fluid. There we go. Then we'll spray no rinse on it again. And this time our main goal is just to carry away any soap that might be on there, because soap is pretty sticky in terms of attracting dust and exhaust. There you have it. You can do this on a coated or uncoated aircraft, doesn't really matter. It'll work either way.
Good morning. It is Sunday, third full day in Fresno. I finished the diamond last night, so that's cool. So we're back to the Epic, and I did some test areas on it last night to figure out the best course of action. It has a lot of sanding marks and holograms and buffing marks, that kind of stuff on the paint, but overall the paint's in pretty good condition. The paint's actually clear coated, so that makes things go a lot faster on our end for paint correction. So here's before. So these are holograms and sanding marks. And it's just causing the plane to not be as excellent as it could be. I just did this part here. And although this isn't perfect, it's really, really good for one-step paint correction. The thing is, like, I could compound it and polish it and you know, spend a lot of time on it. It wouldn't look any better from like a foot away. But also, being a composite aircraft, I don't want to put a lot of heat onto this paint, and heavy cutting requires more polishing, so you end up putting more heat in the paint system.
Let's tackle this very dirty horizontal stabilizer. So this is where most of the soot ends up on this particular aircraft model. We're going to do a gross decon first with, as you guessed, no rinse. Let's not be shy with the no rinse here. This isn't a very good sprayer. Take this towel, which is already damp with no rinse and soot, and we're just going to wipe it and see what comes off. What a mess. All right. The last Epic we did, the paint was pretty much eaten through on this portion. Kind of a testament to how bad this exhaust is. Now we're gonna spray some more no rinse on there. This is 100% citrus solution. Just going to town on it. Now what I don't want to do is spread around all the old soot I had in this towel, so I'm just gonna fold it over to a clean section so we can take away more carbon instead of adding new stuff back. And now we'll just go in a pattern here. So now we got the big stuff off. We still have soap on here, and if this is all you were gonna do and not do a paint correction, go ahead and spray it back with some no rinse at about a 1 to 20 concentration for those of you needing that info. Dry towel, and just kind of mop up the excess soap. Alright, so I'm going to do a paint correction on this side, and then I'll bring the camera down and you can see what it looks like. There we go. So this side is polished. This side's not polished. See how much cleaner that reflection is? And you can't tell on this camera, unfortunately. This side is whiter as well.
So the wings are polished, horizontal stabilizer tops are polished, and I should say the top of the wings are polished, big difference. Fuselage is polished, so I just need to bear down and get working on the underside. There's some interesting paint defects there that I'll try and capture as I go, but overall, you know, it's progressing. It's a big plane. It's an easy plane, but it's a big plane, a lot of surface area. It is 6:47, so I think I'm going to get going on the underside, maybe get the fuselage done, take a little break, and then work on the wings. And then I'd like to start coating. So it's Sunday night now. I have a Cirrus that we're reconditioning in Santa Monica. So I'm in Fresno right now, about a 3-hour drive to Santa Monica. From there, I gotta come back to Fresno because I wasn't thinking ahead to book my return flight out of LA. So time is gonna be tight, but if I get to LA by Monday afternoon, I can crunch out the Cirrus having a late night and a long day. But I'd like to avoid that. If I remember right, the one we did in Dallas was about 8 hours of coating alone. So if I start that at 8, get at least 4 hours out of the way, that'd be okay. But we'll just see how it goes. I'm just rambling now because I'm procrastinating. So time to get to work. The plane I'm working on now, plane number 2, has to go to work tomorrow. It has to carry people around. So I can't work on it tomorrow as planned. So the owner is gonna fly me in this plane to Santa Monica so I can get started on plane number 3, the Cirrus. However, before this plane is gonna go flying, plane number 2, I'm gonna try and get as much done as possible. So we're gonna triage. We're gonna do the fuselage first, tops of the wings, and then the underside.
Alrighty. It's 1 a.m. and that side of the plane's coated. This side of the plane I'm coating right now. I'm gonna, as part of the triage plan, coat the fuselage, coat the tops of the wings, tops and bottom on the horizontal stabilizer in the back. Vertical stabilizer is going to be coated as well. And then we're going to head off to Santa Monica. Okay.
Good morning. It's Monday. I got the fuselage coated last night, so that's cool. I'm gonna pack up real quick. If we have time, I'd like to maybe coat the wings on the Epic. But we gotta pack up, catch a flight to Santa Monica.